In 2002, Glenn's grandpa bought this 2001 Mustang Cobra. What's really cool about this is Glenn was just born when his grandpa bought this car, and his grandpa used to pick him up from kindergarten in it, and also elementary school in the years to come. He said he remembered being so pumped up whenever his grandpa would come to the school and pick him up in it, and everyone would look at the car. The Cobra had Flowmaster 40 series on it and sounded really good to him, and he said he remembered when they'd drive off that his grandpa would shift the gears, and that's something he's always going to remember. So the car made 320 horse back then, which was a lot of horsepower for its time, and so that's a really neat car to have, and I think that's a really good memory. His grandpa also had a bunch of cars. Before that, he had a 97 Cobra, and he had a couple of Fox bodies before that. And he used to restore the 60s Mustangs back in the 1980s when his mom was growing up. So he did a 65 Fastback, a 67 Fastback, and he found a 68 289 sitting in a field and bought it and painted it and cleaned it up for his mom to drive to high school. And he also got his uncle a 67 289 3-speed that he did some things to. So as you can see in these pictures, that '01 Cobra was black on black, which means black paint, black interior, and that was pretty much the style that his grandpa had. He always had black Mustangs. His grandpa bought the Cobra with 35,000 miles on it, and he daily drove it to work and back, and when he sold it, it had 91,000 miles in 2012. His grandpa had sold the car locally, but he had never heard anything else about it. So 8 years later, he was digging around in his drawers and found the original window sticker with the VIN number on it. And so it's really neat to look at these window stickers and see little details. It shows in the bottom left corner where the car was shipped new and all that. It shows California. And the neat thing about that is it does have the VIN number of the car. So they were really excited, and they took the VIN number and they did a Carfax, and they found out that the guy they had sold the car to owned it for 1 year and put about 9,000 miles on it. But then he sold it to somebody in Nevada, and that owner has had it since 2013, and now it shows that it has 114,000 miles on it. So Glenn tried to call the place where the car would be serviced that shows up on the Carfax, but unfortunately they can't give any information to him. So he was hoping that if the owner of the car ever sees this video, then he'll be able to have some more details about the car and how it is now. As you can see in the picture, the car did have a bra on the front of it, and so the bra and the Flowmasters were really the only modifications the car had, but obviously the VIN number is there. And so his grandpa had sold the Cobra, but in 2013 he decided he wanted another Mustang, so he bought a 2012 Mustang 5.0 GT Premium, black on black, and it's got Flowmasters on it as well. His grandpa had also added new wheels and side louvers for the windows. And when Glenn had his driver's permit, his grandpa let him drive it, and he absolutely loved it. He loves driving Mustangs. So Glenn is now 18 years old, and he's looking for a Mustang, and he's working real hard to save up for one. And so he wants to get either a 90 to 93 5.0 5-speed or an '01 Cobra. And something really cool was he made a model car of his grandpa's Cobra. So here's a model Cobra. I think that's really neat. It even has the little bra on there. And so that's really neat to see. I actually haven't seen many of these '01 Cobra models. I've seen the Terminators in the other years, but I haven't really seen one like this. So that's really cool to see as well. I think Glenn's grandpa sounds like a really cool guy. He has great taste in cars, and he got to enjoy this Cobra when it was new. So this is a really cool story. I love thinking about how much this car must have meant to Glenn and to his grandpa, and growing up in that time and having that car new and being able to ride around in it and watch his grandpa shift the gears, similar to the experience I had with the local Ford dealer owner who was really good to me and took me around when I was 16 in his '01 Bullet. I didn't know how to drive stick shift back then, and I was watching his every move and really excited. And it's an interesting concept to think about learning through observation. You're watching what he's doing. He's not telling you, I'm putting the clutch in and I'm going to move this and this is how I shift gears. It's just something you do as you're driving the car, and the other people notice it as they're riding with you. And I try to teach my little boys how to drive stick shift and what I'm doing, and they don't really understand the concept of gears and why you need to change gears and everything, but it is something that you learn through observation, and it's fun. And that's why I really like manual transmission cars, because you're part of the experience. It's fun to shift the gears yourself and do all that. So really cool story. I think it's really neat that he remembers that from a young age, and I think that's really cool. So stay tuned for more of these stories, subscribe to the channel, and if you own this car or know whoever owns the car, then put it in the comments, and that would be really cool for Glenn to find that out.